everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. I'm going to take a little pause here for my celebration series. I think I have two cards left in that. Celebration does end the end of February. While supplies last, there is a bunch of stuff left still, so that's not an issue for the majority of the products. But March is coming and I wanted to point out a couple of things to you. So we'll do this little March video here and then I'll go back to celebration and finish up the month. One is I am getting ready to close registration on my online mini retreat. It's going to be so much fun, guys. So I hope you sign up for it. We're going to focus on embossing paste and coloring techniques. So I chose 3 easy stamp sets. I'll show them to you here in a second. Easy to color in. We'll be able to use a variety of different methods. You can mix and match which ones you want to use. You can do all of them. You can do some of them. You won't have to have specific colors. We'll be able to make them all work for you. You can get all of the sets. You can get none of the sets. You can use ones you already have that are similar. You can kind of tailor it to what you want to do. And then all 6 of the projects that we make together will use embossing paste in some way, shape, or form. It's an online class, as I said, so the links will be emailed to you. You'll get some candy. You'll get a fun little retreat gift. And then if you get the mailed retreats, there's 3 options for mailed ones, or you can just get the videos. If you get the videos, you don't get the gifts because those aren't mailed. So go to the retreat page. Registration does end soon. There isn't a specific date because I have jury summons next week. So it depends if I get called or if I don't get called. I had a date that I wanted the retreat to actually kind of start, but since it's just an emailed thing and online links, I'm not going to do that because the way our jury summons works is you call every day for a week and you may get called, you may not get called, you may have to show up and then sit there for a couple of days to see if you get called. If you get called, it may be a 1-day trial, it may be a long day trial, several days. So you just have no idea. So because my life may be up in the air, I'll just get it to you. It'll be to you by mid-March. I'm going to use Best Day. You can go to any of these tutorials that are on my channel and learn more about the sets, about the coloring that I used on these particular ones, and learn more about the retreat. And then Silly Goose. So Taco Fiesta, Best Day, but you don't have to use these. Anything similar will work, but they're cute sets. And then we have a demonstrator event coming up in March, 35 Ways to Celebrate Stampin' Up. I think that we're getting ready to open just a small portion of it to those of you that are not demonstrators. So if you live in the central Indiana area, it won't be long enough, I think, for those of you that live in the Midwest. It's a Midwest demonstrator event, but it's just going to be a small portion that will be open to people who are not demonstrators. So if you just want to come stamp with us, do some of the raffle things, some of the fun stuff with us for one of the days, then you can email me and we'll get you more information. We're going to get together and work on that today. And then if you want to do any kind of St. Patrick's Day projects, you need to order your St. Patrick's Day stuff now so you have time to get it. And then also make your projects. So I'm going to show you a really cute one. One thing, I know that if you are a huge fan of St. Patrick's Day, and I am, and I have so much fun vintage stuff, and I have stuff from when we went to Ireland, and I can't wait to decorate, but I have a rule in my little house right now. I cannot decorate until I've got my club stuff out the door. It's about halfway ready to go. We packed up about half of the packets last night. We're gonna do the other half tonight. Once they're to the post office, then I can take down my Valentine's Day and decorate, but I gotta do my work first. So if you are a huge fan, you may know that this is sold out. So you can still get this set because we don't often have really cute St. Patrick's Day sets. Notre Dame is one of my favorite, one of my husband's favorite teams. So we like to go to a Notre Dame football game here and there. You know, Indiana team. We've been to the Notre Dame Cathedral school part, whatever it is. I don't really understand it all in Ireland. This is what it punches out. You can cut this. So don't, if you missed out on getting this, I'm going to use it because a lot of you did get it, obviously, because it's sold out. But you can punch that, you can cut that. So don't let it stop you from getting the cute set. And we're going to just do the greens. So here's, we made this at my in-person camp this week. But and so I was limited on the greens that I used because my greens were spread out over different projects. for you guys, I'm just gonna go with all the greens. So same card base, I'm gonna do spruce, because it's my favorite St. Patrick's Day green. You could put some Night of Navy with it, and then I have gold, because I think when I see the shamrocks, I go to Notre Dame in my mind. And then I have, this is a standard card base size, so it's 4 by 5 1/4, but I want it to be panels. I made this card over and over and over because I realized I wasn't going to have time to do another St. Patrick's Day card. Like the next time we had my in-person camp, it would be too late to do a St. Patrick's Day project. So I had my camp done, and then I came up literally the evening before camp and made this. So it went through a lot of design elements before I settled on one I liked. So I started with this base, and then I wanted to get all the stamps on it because they're cute, and I was going to make one card, so I wanted them to see them all. So I cut this into 4, and I wanted 4 equal rectangles. So the first one's an easy measurement. It's 4, so do it in 2. So then you have 2 that are 2. And then this is 5 1/4. And you know, if you watch my channel, you know how much I hate math. So 5 1/4 would be 2 1/2, right? This is how I measure. That would be the 5, that's half of that. And then there's a 1/4, so you need another 1/8. That's how I do it. And there's our other 8. So it's good enough. We're gonna fill it with stamps. So if it's a little bit out, we'll see how good we are. See, that's how you can measure without having to do math. And then we're just gonna decorate each of these with the different stamps. If you watched me the other day, I talked about how important it is. About every 3 months, I take all of my, it may be a little 2.5 months, and I re-ink all of my stamp pads. I think that if you have issues with yours crystallizing on the edges, it's not good for them to dry up. So if you keep them moist, not only does it keep your tools in good shape, but it also inks really well. And when I started this card, the first I inked with my Granny Apple Green, and right away I was like, oh, if you stamp with a dry stamp pad, you can kind of tell that it needs some help. Now I'm going to have to think what colors I want to use because I'm switching them. I'm going to go Shaded Spruce and Bermuda Bay, which is not what I used on my other card because Shaded Spruce was not available to me when I made this card the other day. So I'm going to do my large shamrock, and let's start with Bermuda Bay, which I realized does not look like it's green, but it does on this card. It kind of brightens it up. Although I didn't have parakeet available to me either because it was on another project at camp. And then I'm going to take, I have it in Bermuda Bay. Let's take it now and roll the edges. This is called the rock and roll technique. So now it's going to have a little bit of the spruce on it. And then this is just a piece of scrap paper. And I think my punch goes, oh, I thought I already had green on my hand. My garden green stamp pad's a hot mess. So, and I had a black sweatshirt on, and I'm getting ready to go out. Like I said, we're gonna go have a planning meeting for our event. So now we have that. See how that little pop of Bermuda Bay just kind of gives a little bit of life to our shamrock. But I'm gonna put gold leafing on this card, and I did not want to get gold leafing on my black sweatshirt before I even start the day. Now let's go. I should have just stuck with the colors. Now I'm gonna have to think about this. I think I'll use the Shaded Spruce one more time. Where'd I put it? And then we'll be done with that. So this set has a fun little saying. Hopefully I pulled everything out of my can bucket. Yep. Just stamp it right here in the middle. Good friend is like a 4-leaf clover, hard to find and lucky to have. And then this is the one I'm going to add my gold leaf to. And then let's grab another one. On this one, we will do our tiny little clover. And this one I will do like I just did on my other one in the Granny Apple Green, which I used to think was our brightest color of green until we got the parakeet, and now it doesn't seem that bright anymore. And I'm just going to kind of angle them all different directions so we can kind of fill this up. Well, that's poor stamping. That's why God gave us 2 sides to every piece of paper. Don't rock it, just push straight down and straight up. And my pad's extra juicy because I just re-inked it the other day. So make sure your stems go all different directions. Otherwise it's gonna look like all of your things are kind of in a row, and then when you get one that goes the wrong way, it's gonna look funky. I like to get as many of my stems going off the piece of paper as I can. You can see right here, I didn't ink that part very well. See the difference of where my ink is, and someplace on here I need to go back in and add some more re-inker. When your ink pads start inking light like that, then they definitely need to be refilled. And if they get too dry, I think that's when they start to kind of get crispy. Nobody wants a crispy ink pad. Make sure that you fill these all the way up. So every last little piece, because we're gonna add some ribbon. And sometimes when you put some ribbon on here, then all of a sudden you've covered up all of your stamping. So now we have some little 4-leaf clovers. And then this one, there's a big 3-leaf clover. Let's do it in, we'll do it in the parakeet. See how much brighter it is than the granny apple? That used to be like, I used to use that and think, oh, such a pretty bright green. And again, fill it all the way up. That one's done. And then there's some teensy tiny little ones that are here. And those I did in all the colors. So let's start here with couple of dabs of the granny apple. Then let's move to the, the parakeet, and then I'll do the granny apple, and you can right away see the difference in what you thought was a, look at the difference in those colors. So those of you that have put off buying a parakeet because you already have granny apple, that's the difference in those two colors. Then let's get a Bermuda. And you can just stamp these right over the top of each other. And then we haven't used any garden green, which I used heavily on my last one, but I didn't have the parakeet in the spruce. See what a hot mess that pad is? I don't know what happened to it. And then we'll fill in those last little edges with the spruce. So you can, and I didn't use olive, I didn't use pear, I didn't use moss. Use whatever greens you have. They'll all be fine. And I used 2 less colors. What are the odds that I would hit right over the top of that? Okay. And then we have, got to get our Happy St. Patrick's Day on there. And do it in black. So it's a little bit of a different color than all the green. I'm just going to do it right up here along the edge of this, which was some scrap paper. And this is vanilla, not white. So it gives it a little, I think it's from my Notre Dame musings of thinking I was going to put navy with it, which I didn't need the navy. Here's the punch. If you do not have the punch, it is okay. Just take your scissors and pop that out. If you were lucky and you got the punch, then just slide it in and punch it out. You take your scissors and just trim this. See, you're going to need your scissors anyway, so if you don't have the punch, just get the set. And I could almost guarantee 100% the set's not going to carry on because the punch sold out. And if the set was going to carry on, then the punch would be coming back. Because the Easter Bunny punch sold out, but it's coming back past the catalog date, which leads me to believe that there's a small chance, although sometimes the punches come back and their sets don't. Now we're going to take, if you don't use the gold leafing because you think it's too hard, wait till you see this. This is our tear and tape. I'm going to put a strip here at the top of this right here. Because if you think it's too hard, and now I have some green. If you want to not forget to wear green on St. Patrick's Day, just stamp a card in the morning and use some green ink and you'll have green on you. So when people are going to try to pinch it, you're going to be like, look at my hands. For whatever reason, if I use green ink, I can use all the other colors and be fine. I use the green and it ends up all over me. So I have 2 strips of the tear and tape, and this tape is on the adhesive page in the catalog, or you just look in the adhesive section of our website. Just give it a good little push. Make sure it's all stuck nicely. It's one of our best adhesives if you want to make boxes or if you make little retreat gifts and stuff. It holds things the best. If you want to send something in the mail to somebody and you want that to have it be flat and you want them to be able to assemble it once they get it, then give the tear and tape and just tell them to pull it off and assemble it. Then this was because of camp. I have my leaf in a giant container, but at camp they just, because it takes so little. This is the original leaf I bought when we first had it, and I bought 2 vials of it and I dumped into a giant thing. It doesn't take that much. So just put a couple of leaves on here. So you can see it's like this, and literally just rub it on. This is the embossing tool kit, which is obviously good for things other than embossing. So you can use it with the heat and stick, which is what it's designed to be kind of used with, or the heat and stick's designed to be used with this. But if that scares you, then just use this. The heat and stick obviously will do shapes, you can use it with your stamps, but start with this and get a feel for using it with the tear and tape. It's always going to be a straight line. But for this, it works perfect. And this is why I took my black sweatshirt on, just sitting here in my white undershirt. We have that, and then just grab any of your gold ribbons, your gold twine. I know you all have some. You probably even have tiny little strips left from Christmas of some of your really pretty gold ribbon that you just couldn't throw out the little ends. I'm just gonna tie a little bow here. You don't want it to be too big. Raining outside. I don't know if you can hear it hitting the windows. And then just adjust your little loops so they're tiny. I'll trim that off. And then let's go to this one. And I'm gonna have it go up and down this way because my Happy St. Patrick's Day is gonna go long and these are going long, so this will give my, this square something going the other direction. And there's where I stamped poorly. Just kind of flip that around. And now we just have to stick these on our card. I thought about using, I have a whole stack of different gold cardstocks over here. I was gonna put one of them through an embossing folder and put some gold cardstock on it. It doesn't need it. We're just going green and gold. So remember, this is, we started with a regular standard size 4 by 5 1/4. You all mount those on your cards all the time. So as you put these on here, remember that's the size we're going for. I'm gonna add a little bit of adhesive like this first, and then I can lift the panels up and go back and fix them if I need to. But you know what it looks like when you put your panel on, it's about that much, right? And then over here. But if you don't press on them and they're not right, like if this one needs to be moved up, I'll be able to move it up. Because you can decide, do you want these to touch? Do you want a little bit of a border? Where do you want your border to fall? These are going to end up being a little bit closer than my other one because I spread the other one a little bit to the edges. And then you can decide which way you like best. And remember how I said we were going to have some optical illusions, but I'm okay with that. That's pretty good. Now you can press them and then you can go back. I'm not going to take the time. Remember, I didn't put very much adhesive, so just lift these up. I'll show you one. Just put a little bit more and then that will hold them all. Now we need some dimensionals. All my stuff's from downstairs or in the buckets from camp. The bigger one, the big dimensionals would be a better choice. They're downstairs. This is scrap paper, not downstairs. They're in the, I did carry my buckets up. And I know some of you thought that looked a hot mess. It was all gonna get covered up. We just wanted a nice fun sprig of like exploding shamrocks behind my main one. And give a shout out to the scrap paper because this obviously was a piece here that I was using from the card that wasn't. One of my designs that I was starting, when I sat down to make this, I had no idea what I was gonna do. So there's that. Two more little touches. Here are, these are from, they're from the Sentimental Park. They are what you're getting if you're in Card Club this month. That's what I was packing up last night. So let's take the big one and I'm just using the gold. But how many gold embellishments do we have? How many green embellishments do we have? Take your pick. You can use any of those. And stick two of the little ones up in this block here. And then I'm going to take, well, maybe they're all downstairs or in the buckets and my buckets are not where I can reach them. I'm gonna take my Wink of Stella and just add a little bit more of the gold. This will also help if your stamp pads are not inked well, because I know sometimes when our stamp pads aren't inked well, and you may think it's you that does it, but see how that has that two-toned effect, and that is not my stamping ability, because I do know how to stamp, but it's because my stamp pad is not inked very well. And that's my, apparently that is my refill ability, because I did just re-ink this one. But like I said, it was late the other night. So sometimes if you just take, you can do it with a blender pen. You can do it with a Wink of Stella. This is adding a little bit of that glitter to go with all of the gold. But see how that one right there kind of has that place where it's dark and light? If you can kind of move the ink around and kind of fix that. This is a well-inked pad, so everywhere that it hit, it got the even amount of ink. These over here, because when I re-inked it the other night, I was tired and I wanted to get set up for camp and I was done. I need to go back and fix the way that I re-inked my granny apple. If you just dot refill on and you don't fix it, thankfully for this card, that looks okay because I did do the rock and roll over here. And you can kind of smear this and color those in so they're not white in the middle if you want to do that. So here it is with a bunch of greens. Has two more colors of green than this, so you don't have to have all the greens if you don't want to. Same card, less colors. So happy St. Patrick's Day, one of my favorite holidays, and it's just because I love Ireland. My family has Irish heritage. I love the United Kingdom. Can't wait till I'm counting the days. It's less than 90 now. It's like maybe 80-ish, 82, till we head to the United Kingdom. We're not going to Ireland this time. We're going to Scotland. So, and I would never be able to pick if Scotland or Ireland is my favorite. So everybody have a great one. Remember, if you want this, I would get your order in, because by the time it ships and gets to you and you have time to create your St. Patrick's Day projects, you need to get it now. And plus, if you would do it before the end of February, you get free stuff with it because it's still celebration. Have a great one, guys. Bye.